Tonight on PM Express, a conversation about what the loans worth millions of dollars procured to construct health facilities for the country are being used for, as a minority in parliament raise alarm of what they claim to be causing a huge financial loss to the nation's scarce resources. So let me share with you some of the projects that the minority members on the Health Committee of Parliament describe as abandoned, especially as they embarked on an unannounced visit to these facilities. And shortly, I'll show you there's a 120-bed facility at Kumewu Hospital. It's in the Setrafan Plain district in the Ashanti region. It is estimated to be 60 to 65% complete. And so you know that we have about less than 40% for this to be put in use. In Adansi district in the Ashanti region, there's also a 120-bed facility in Fomena Hospital, and it's also estimated to be at 90% complete. So you need just 10% for this to be in use. Again, in Kumewu East district in the eastern region, there's 120-bed facility in Abetifi, and also estimated at 40% complete. And 500-bed Afari military facility in the Ashanti region, estimated at 92 to 95% complete. So these are the projects that are raising issues with the minority on the Health Committee in Parliament. The Yulokrobo District Hospital, for instance, in Somenya in the eastern region, it's 100% complete. And this has also raised a lot of argument. This has been handed over to government. Why is it not in use? JoyNews check shows that it is fully equipped, the medical equipment, everything there that should enable this facility to be put in use. So why is it still there without use? And what this was handed over to government in January. So thankfully, I'll be joined by a member of this minority caucus, and he'll be telling us, because the Health Committee of Parliament, they are on an unannounced nationwide visit, and I'm talking about the minority group on that committee, and they've toured some abandoned health facilities. At one of the facilities, the Afari Military Hospital, there was a clash between the group and the military. The ranking member on Health Committee, Minta Kando, has expressed displeasure, and he says the minority will hold accountable all government officials who have played various roles over the abandoned projects. Thankfully, he'll be joining me in the studio for this discussion. I would also be joined via Zoom by Chairman of the committee, Dr. Yawafari, who is accusing the minority of propaganda. And then we'll have Dr. Gabriel Benanko, who is chairman of the NGOs. He's immediate past chairman of the NGOs in health and currently advisor of the NGOs in health. He's been doing a lot of research into our health needs. He'll be telling us how much of importance these health facilities are to health delivery in this country. We'll get into full swing conversation after this break. Stay with me. Welcome back to PM Express. We're discussing abandoned hospitals in parts of the country, which the minority group on the Health Committee of Parliament say is at various stages of completion but have been abandoned. And they say that if it's not put to use, it will affect people who are supposed to benefit from those hospitals. Mr. Minta Kando, who is a ranking member on the Health Committee, has joined me in the studio. I'm grateful for your time, Mr. Kando.
You're welcome, Marsha.
We are also joined by Dr. Gabriel Benanko, who is the immediate past chairman of the NGOs in health. He's also advisor to the NGOs in health now. We would also be joined shortly by Dr. Efriye, who is chairman of the Health Committee in Parliament, for this conversation. I'm grateful, Dr. Benanko. Is Dr. Efriye on? Dr. Efriye, are you on? Okay, so all right, so he'll be joining us shortly. But Mr. Kando, thankfully, you've been touring all these areas where you say there are abandoned hospitals. Where have you been, and what did you find?
Okay, thank you very much, and let me say good evening to your viewers. This particular talk has a background, and if you recall, during the erstwhile regime, Mr. Senator John Dramani Mahamad's administration, there was huge investment into the health sector. So from 2017, we were consistently putting pressure on government to complete these projects, and there has been that lackadaisical attitude on the part of government to complete these structures. So if you could recall, about more than 2 years ago, the minority members of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health decided to visit some of these facilities about 2 years ago. And so when we came back, government also put forward some kind of responses. So all that we were expecting, and in fact, Aisha, get in mind that all that we are expecting is that whatever we invest the good people of this country's money into is put to good use so that we can realize the full benefit of that particular resources. And so the minister said they were going to site, they were going to mobilize people to go to site and complete the project and all that. They gave very lengthy, excuses and reasons. So some months later, years later, and even quite recently, the minister and the president himself have categorically stated on several occasions that there is no health facility in this country that has been abandoned. So we decided to go back and check whether there has been improvement on those sites we visited last time, and then continue to visit other health infrastructure, whether there is work ongoing or is being completed and is being operationalized. So we started our journey. Our first stop was at Kumawu. We visited the chief's palace, and then the chief also had to appeal to us to hold government's feet to fire until these projects are completed. And coincidentally, the Kumawu Mahine happens to be a medical doctor, and so he knows the full benefit of that particular facility in his town. When we got to the site, Aisha, you'll be surprised to hear that the facility is further deteriorating, because as far as I'm concerned, the last 2 years we visited the site, there hasn't been any change at all. But consistently, the minister or government has been telling us that there are contractors on site and they are near completion and all that. So we proceeded to Formina. Formina, which is about 80 to 90% complete, is also fast deteriorating. If you are walking in the lanes, you may realize that there's nothing wrong with the structures, but once you go there, you see some sparrowjara, and then some of the ceilings have caved in and fast deteriorating. Even the bungalows for the health professionals are left in the bush. They are all left. They were horrible scenes, nasty ones, of course.
Can we show those things on television so that our viewers can really
Fantastic.
Exactly.
And so, you see, we always rely on you, the media, to be able to tell us the truth. So if I am the one doing or making propaganda, the good people of this country are the judges when the press show. And we had heavy presence of the press following us throughout our tour. And so when we got to Formina, as I have already said, we went to the chief, and they also appealed to us that, look, and you see, one thing I find very, very, very sad is the fact that in this 8th parliament, what makes the MPP the majority in parliament is the Formina seat. So the Formina seat is very crucial in the 8th parliament. And the Formina member of parliament is the 2nd deputy speaker of Ghana's parliament. So if for nothing at all, if there is less than 10% work to complete these magnificent edifice in his constituency, if not for wickedness, I don't see why that should not be added, so that the good people in that environment will benefit from that infrastructure. Aisha, let me also add that all the money that were used or are being used for the construction of these facilities are loans. And you and I are paying the interest on those loans. Meanwhile, we've left these facilities to rot away. Okay? So we moved on from our Formina to Afari. Okay, so the Formina one, we can no longer say that it is 90% because it is deteriorating. You can see for yourself. Can you see? That is the ceiling that has caved in.
Okay.
Can you see?
This is Formina.
This is Formina.
About.
Okay, this is Formina.
Oh.
Can you see?
Okay.
Can you? Very nasty scenes. These are completed nurses and medical doctors bungalow taken over by Wiz. Tiled. I mean, air conditions fitted.
Okay.
Everything in order. If it is not wickedness, tell me one word to describe this situation.
Thankfully, Dr. Efriye is on. I'll give him the opportunity to explain to us what is happening there. But also, at the Afari Military Hospital, I mean, there was some chaos. Let's see what happened there.
We are granting an interview here. Once we finish, we are almost done. So when we finish, we'll go.
Mr. Kando.
Yes.
With all due respect.
I gave you the maximum respect. Listen, you see?
That's what I beg you in the name of God. Let's go to the site engineer.
I don't have a problem. Going to the site engineer is not a problem. I'm saying that we can't go to a site engineer and come back here again. Please. I'm coming.
We can't go to the site. Of back and forth, tempest calmed down and the military paved way for the NDC MPs to tour the facility.
So we saw you in there with the military having some exchange there. What really happened?
Okay, so we entered, we saw the military, we first approached them, greeted them, and introduced ourselves to them. Fortunately enough, some of them were able to identify us. So they had some misunderstandings with us that we're not supposed to be there and that they would not allow us to do that. But we made it clear to them at that point that it's our lawful duty. I'm a member of parliament. And as far as I'm concerned, this project has been given to a contractor.
Okay.
And so I have the right to inspect. So when we moved on and we're in the process of inspecting, so where actually that authentication happened, there were some equipment, health equipment that has been left to the mercy of the weather. So we were there and they brought reinforcements. So once I was speaking to this military man, there were other military men who were armed around. So I saw them and I called the gentleman to come talk to me. So when he came again, he said others from above that we shouldn't be there and that they should prevent us from going there and all that. I said, look, we are not there to do anything bad. If you care to know, if you can follow us, and then after that we will leave. No, but to leave this premises without doing our work, we're not going to do that. So we tried explaining to him whether or not he was convinced. That's another matter to do.
But you went in.
But we went in.
Anyway.
But this was happening in there. So we went in and we did whatever we were supposed to do.
And at that place, what did you see?
The project is near completion, and one of the medical doctors who were on board is a minority member on the committee who owns a health facility, said that, look, if any private person, okay, had constructed this particular edifice, you would have started even operationalizing it. Okay. And we saw, I mean, cylinder bottles all over, which means that equipment and cylinder bottles, which means that they can even start operationalizing the facility. And so we think that, one, government is being wicked. Two, we think that even the Abetifi one was worst amongst it all. In fact, if any contractor is going to go to site Abetifi, they must pull down about 50% of the structures there. They must
Why?
pull out, yes, because they are collapsing. Okay. And some of the roofs have actually been roofed off. Some of the buildings have been ripped off. Okay. And I wish that you could show those videos here. If you have the videos, you can show them.
At Abetifi?
Yes.
I'm sure we'll get that.
Very good. And so we think that somebody must answer questions to that regard. And Asha, don't forget that we are talking about facilities that have been left to the mercy of the weather for about 4 to 5 good years. It's not as though this just happened last year or 2 years or 3 years ago. Okay. Okay. So somebody must be answering questions. And in fact, it is causing financial loss to the state.
Is this the Abetifi hospital?
Okay. Let us go further. Yes, it could be the Abetifi one. Further. yes, it could be like the Tiffy one.
Okay. So Dr. Friye has joined us for this conversation. Dr. Friye, I'm grateful for your time. Now, you accuse the minority of propaganda, yet there's pictorial evidence of some of the abandoned hospitals, especially as government has admitted that we have a deficit when it comes to health infrastructure, and we need these facilities now even more than ever. How do you explain this?
Did I accuse them of propaganda? Can you put your question in context? If you say I accuse them of propaganda, what does that mean?
Because yesterday
I was speaking to your station yesterday, and I was saying that they went to the place as NDC MPs. It's not health committee.
Okay.
And you made a news that it was a minority caucus of the health committee, and I'm saying that the procedures and the rules of the parliament doesn't have any minority caucus of health committee.
Okay.
So this is not accusation of being propaganda. I think you should situate my
So that point has been made, that you were referring to the members going there as not following procedures of the committee, right?
Yes. So now let's go to the substantive issue. You said, please go ahead. Yeah.
Great.
So the substantive question. So we've gone past that position. It's not me accusing them of propaganda.
So my question is, how do you explain these abandoned facilities, especially when the president has told us that even COVID has made us to understand
I don't think that I'm the one to explain this. I'm not the Minister of Health. My position as an oversight person, as the chairman of the Health Committee, is virtually to do what my colleague has done, and therefore, if you are asking my opinion on the issue, what I would also tell you is that as far as the ongoing projects of the NMS is concerned, it dates back somewhere from 2011 or 12 when the current speaker was the Minister of Health. And then the program was supposed to be ending on the 31st of December 2016, where they would have constructed almost about 10 hospitals. And as of 2016, August, when they went for a renewal of the letters of credit, they had only completed Dodowa, and the remaining were not up to about various, on the average, was about 50% completed, yet about 85% of the money has been given out of $175 million. It was left with almost about $38 million. And almost about 80% was gone. So the financial consumption has far outweighed what was there physically. And for that matter, they went to the then finance minister, the Tekwe, for renewal of the letters of credit. And he decided not to renew it in August. And it actually expired in December 2016. So there again came a new government. So the question is going to be that I will be very happy in your interrogations. You find out why the former minister Tekwe did not renew the mandate of the then contractors. That's of why you have spent about 80 to 85% of the money, and then at the end of the day, you are about 50% completion on the average. So, as we speak, you start a project from around 2013 to about 2016. Gary was not done, it was about 2%. Secondly, no, the issue was going to be land litigation issue, so contractor was not able to do the construction. Abetifi had gone to almost about 23% to 24%, and therefore Abetifi too was part of the project, but they did to a point. There was no money, but you said you were going to use $175 million to do all of them. As of why you were able to use 85% to do almost on the average 50% of all is questionable. So the new regime was like, okay, I would want to find out how come you spent a lot and did a little. And then the audit started somewhere 2017. So with my understanding, all these two crown agents did the auditing. It took almost about a year to about a year plus to 2018 thereof. And then the findings went to the Ministry of Finance, and then they also sought the Attorney General's advice that the government of Ghana has committed itself into this project. They said they were going to complete all of them by the 1st December 2016. As of 2016, they spent about 85% of the money, and the remaining is about $38 million, but it cannot complete the remaining 7 projects. It cannot do Garu, it cannot do Abetifi, it cannot do Sekendi, it cannot do Kamewu, it cannot do Fomena, it cannot do European Hospital. It has done Dodowa to completion. So the remaining 38 million, if it can't, what do we do? Then the Attorney General advised them that, okay, if that's the case, repackage Garu, repackage Abetifi, repackage Sekendi, and let the contractor go and look for financing. Okay? However, if you are saying Kumewi is at 60% completion, Fomena is about 80% completion, European Hospital is about 80% completion, then if they do what we call the dilapidation survey, of which the contractor did, and the delays was when COVID came, so he had a lot of delays, and it is not the responsibility of the Ministry of Health, neither the responsibility of the Ministry of Finance. It was the responsibility of the contractor. Okay? So he also will have to do this survey before they go back to work to let us see the extent of tear and wear and all of them when they were doing the auditing. You know, when you put a structure down for a period, there's going to be some tear and wear. All right, good. So at the end of the day, they decided that, okay, with the remaining amount of money at the level of tear and wear, and what you have to do, apply the money to Kumewu, Fomena, and European Hospital. So they came to Parliament just around June with the addendum, of which we sat and approved that, or however that the Parliament of Ghana approved for all this money to be done for 10 hospitals. It's not possible. What is left can do only 3. So apply this money for the 3, of which Parliament gave the approval in June. Okay, right, okay. Now be it as it may, the contractor NMS is in town, is a British entity. They are taking the finance from UKEF, UK Export Fund. Okay, they are financing the project. So what is happening is this. After the resolution in June, July, they have decided to go to site. However, they need advanced mobilization. The money is not coming from Ghana government. It is coming from the UK. It is a UK entity, and they are taking the money from UK. So if you want advanced mobilization, what you have to do is that the Ministry of Health would submit your withdrawal letters and everything to the Ministry of Finance, and they in turn will pass it on to the UK, and the UK will release the money for you. Now, as I speak with you, all this has been done. They are waiting for finance release from the UK so that the contractors within the period can complete, not all the projects, please. They can complete Kumewu, they can complete Fomena, they can complete, the next one is European Hospital. So if you do politics that the building is there, it is growing fungi, so do you want money to come from as a manna to drop down without, it doesn't make sense. The sense of it is that the money is coming from the UK, and then processes have gone through for the UKEF to release the funds. So if the money is not coming, do you blame government for this?
Okay.
I mean, I don't understand. It is sheer populism.
Okay.
And when the money also comes, let's say it takes June, it takes 6 months, and it comes, say, let's say, in October or November, the money will know it's not a Ghana government money. It is a collateralized one, and fine, it is our money by virtue of debt stock, and we are going to pay.
Okay.
The release of the money is not from accountant general, so you don't blame controller. Either do you blame finance on it. Then we better have to blame UKEF. So I don't know how to go about the populism of this issue, other than saying that we expect that the project to be done. Money that doesn't belong to you, money that is not yours. I don't know how you blame government on this occasion.
Okay.
If the decision has not been made to apply the funds, then you can blame government that, hey, for all these projects that is sitting there, you have still not made a decision on the 38 million. Why? But they've made a decision.
Okay.
They still have left the confines of government. So why would you blame government as being irresponsible on the issue when a decision has been made on it?
Mr. Kando,
anybody.
Okay, Mr. Kando, so this is Dr. Free.
Asha, you see, You see, if government admits that they are doing something wrong, that is where they will even set up to probably catch up with the good people of this country. But once they convince themselves that they are doing nothing wrong, then it's more dangerous.
He says the funds is coming from UK.
I'm coming. Before the commencement of these projects, the funds never came from Ghana.
Yeah.
Okay? Whoever was, in fact, the longest project started around 2014. Most of them started around 2015.
Okay.
Okay? So if Formina, for example, starts around 2015, and in 2016, it's more than 85% complete, irrespective of challenges. You see, we vote leaders to power to come and solve problems.
He said at some point you did not also renew the contract.
I will come there. You see, there were issues about. Chairman.
Okay, Dr. Friel, let him make his point, then I'll come
with the greatest deal of respect.
Okay, go ahead.
So if you start, let me use Formina for example. You start a project in 2015, and by 2016, you are 85% complete.
Okay.
And assuming without admitting that there are challenges, you inherit this project, and you tell me that from 2017 to 2021, you can't resolve it, and nobody should blame you. Then you have no business in power. Then you have no business in power. Look, the chairman has clearly admitted that even with respect to packaging the project and going back to site, we approve it by June 2021. From 2017 till date. Meanwhile, you are aware. The minister keeps saying that there is no project in this country that has been abandoned. And you are aware. Okay? Again, they keep referring to 175, and you said you were going to do this number, and then we didn't know what you used the money for. Look, when they took office, they said a lot of things has gone wrong and people have squandered money. And so they instituted a forensic audit into this matter. If you institute forensic audit into an issue, and 4 or 5 good years down the lane, there's even no report. In fact, the truth of the matter is that because they wanted to watch hands the people and they saw that they did no wrong, they are ashamed to publish the results of the forensic audit. Nobody has done anything wrong. And Asha, let me tell you, it is normal in any project that you can award a project. I mean, once the project is being implemented or executed, you can have variation.
Okay.
And you come back to Parliament for approval. It is normal. We do it all the time.
Okay.
So if you are in government, and all the stories he's giving, it's not as though it happened in 2019 or 2020. You inherited them. Okay? So if you tell me that nobody should blame government and they should go and blame somebody that we have not voted for, then you are being irresponsible.
But, okay, so how do you explain the bit about Sekpe not renewing the contract?
Contract? I don't even know where he's bringing this one from. Did anybody sack anybody from site?
Okay.
Nobody sacked anybody from site. Okay? If you want a waiver from even importing materials, that's a different issue altogether. Okay. But for somebody to renew a contract, I don't even understand what he's saying.
Okay.
Okay, so for me, what is important is that...
Okay, he wants to explain. Let him explain that point. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, if she doesn't know, I want to tell my colleague that the contractors are in town, they are listening to us, and Aisha, I want you tomorrow for us to continue this session, where you will ask them, how come that you went for withdrawal, okay? And the LC was turned down, as in the Sekpe did not bother for them to do any drawdown, okay? Renew it for you, okay? So it was August. And I'm also challenging the Ministry of Finance, as they listen to us, to make available documentation on the request from the contractor.
So this was
which they have it. So the Sekpe didn't allow for funds to be released. Because
nobody has abrogated any contract.
Obviously,
does that mean somebody has abrogated the contract?
Okay, so he didn't release funds to continue after 85.
Nobody has abrogated any contract.
You have not released money to you.
Okay.
Any letter of credit or anything. That's a different matter.
Money. And it doesn't match the physical transformation.
Okay. So
it will tell you that there's an indictment.
So Mr. Akando says that you instituted a forensic audit. Where's the report? so that you can find out people who have squandered monies, who didn't apply monies to.
He's a member of parliament, Aisha. He's a member of parliament. He knows what to do. He has to ask.
We have consistently been demanding, and we have the right to even ask from here. You shouldn't refer to anywhere. Don't hide behind this. If there was anything good in it, you would have published it.
Okay. Let him make the point.
If anybody was culpable, you would have published it long ago.
Neither was it a public inquiry.
Okay.
It is an audit, that forensic audit for the sake of public administration.
Okay.
They cannot give you to Akando. If Akando wants it, you should just ask a simple question of the Minister of Health.
But why haven't you made it public?
To this point of thing,
it's a public document.
Yeah.
You are not a member of parliament. You are requesting. They should bring it to
public.
They should bring it to Joy FM.
Because we are all interested. Why is
they should
it
bring
not
it tomorrow? They should bring you a copy.
Domain?
Can you, Aisha? Is it directed to me or to the ranking member?
You are the chairman.
You
are in government.
I'm not hearing because Akando is talking at the background.
Okay, Mr.
Akando, can you please allow Aisha to ask me the question?
So, Mr. Free, I'm saying that why is the report not in the public domain?
Oh, Aisha, the minister has done his forensic stuff. Is it a public inquiry?
Yeah.
It's a parliamentary inquiry.
So can you share with us
because he is interested in it, he should just ask a question for a public document.
Have you asked that question?
We have,
Aisha, I'm sure even Joy FM, if you write to the minister, he will give you a copy. But he is working with it, you know.
Okay.
Aisha, please, for the purposes of education, when this was done, the auditing was done, they sent the documentation from the Ministry of Finance to the Attorney General's office for advice. Okay? So what I'm saying is that this is not a secret document. So long as we move into ministry to ministry, people would have seen it. It is not secret document. Okay. So please, if he demands of it, because we are on recess, I'm sure Aisha tomorrow, please do us a great deal of good. Go to the Ministry of Health. Say that we had these issues on the platform. For the purpose of the public education, you need copy. I'm sure the minister will wholeheartedly give you that this is the copy. So why do we make it as if he is keeping it under his armpit or stock, locked well, and he doesn't want to give it out? That should not be the impression.
So what has the outcome of this audit got to do with the projects that have been abandoned? Is there any correlation? The outcome of this audit is the very reason why they brought the addendum to Parliament in June for us to approve that the remaining amount of money, that is 38 million, cannot complete Garu, cannot do Abetifi, cannot do Second Day. And for that matter, they should repackage those ones for financing, of which I understand the contractor had meetings last week with the Ministry of Health. And he has agreed that they will speak to the UK bank is willing to finance Abetifi. So that is going to be an entirely new liability on the stockpiles of Kanye, because the money that was allocated vanished in thin air. You see, in Ghana, what is worrying is that those who are learned, if they decide that something costs 1 and it goes to tender and it costs 4 and it is so long as it's 2 and it costs 4 and it's going through tender, it is the books. But Dr. Free, if you believe that people have squandered monies and for that reason we are suffering for this, why haven't you punished people? I mean, per the forensic audit that you've conducted.
That's what I'm telling you, Aisha. The most dangerous part of it is when somebody is very intelligent and he decides that I am going to engage in an illegality. I'm going to engage in, I'll call it a vice of which the laws would support or guide the person. How intelligent some people can be. So see, things can dissipate, but there will be legal reasons why you cannot even get anybody. But you and me will look at it and say, this thing should have been 1, is now 3. But they said it went to PPA, is approved. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't grab anybody. So Aisha, I don't want to go into that area, please. Going forward, my interest is that the $38 million is exactly what is going to do 3 projects. Kumewu, Formina, European Hospital. Now, secondly, is not going to happen because government itself is going to build a regional hospital in Second D.
So what will happen to the structure?
There's no structure. Secondly, there's no structure.
Okay.
Anybody listening to us in Secondary, it started right from scratch. The NMS contractors had issues with land.
Okay.
So Secondary, there's no structure.
Okay.
Garu, same. Garu now is being absorbed into the Agenda 111. So that is why the Attorney General advised that repackage them, look for financing. So now Garu is going under Agenda 111. Secondly, luckily for Secondly, if Kanta has seen the expansion and co, so they are okay. And then they are also going to have a regional hospital, new one, under the government initiative in Secondly.
Okay.
So you really don't need the Secondly type of the district hospital again, because they are now going to have a huge one.
Okay.
Good.
So,
Thanks
Dr.
to the
Free,
good governance of Nanado, please. Thanks to the good governance of Nanado Dankwa Ekufuado, okay? Right. So
Indeed.
after we have done Secondly, Abetifi, he mentioned Abetifi.
Yes.
I can tell you that the contractor has told them in a meeting last week that the UKEF is willing to finance the completion of Abetifi. So if you go and take a video and there are leaves or there are fungi or there are algae or there are something on the roof, so somebody will say, who caused it?
Dr. Free, so for the Yilo Krobo Hospital, which for instance has been completed and is still not being put in use, how do you explain that?
Yilo Krobo Hospital, please, is it part of the NMS issue?
Is it
the
part
Yilo
of it?
Krobo issue, please.
Okay.
The NMS is Abetifi, Fomena, Dodowa, Garu, Kumewu, Secondary, European. Please, the Dodowa is being used. If there is any Yilo Krobo, you have gone entirely away from this NDC motivated oversight that was done by the party people. Yes. In fact, MPs who are party men. Yes, actually. It's not health committee. This is some question that I will ask you to, Aisha, with all due respect, you see, this is something you should ask the Ministry of Health, because really, I think the capital investment unit can help us on that issue. Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Kando, I'll give you just a few minutes because I have to take a break and come back.
Aisha, the substantive issue.
I'm confirming my DC tomorrow, so you don't want me to campaign.
Give me just 2 minutes. I'll let you go, please.
Aisha, the substantive issue is that money from this country has been invested in this project for a very long time. Okay. When are we going to complete this project? This argument, we've even crossed that.
Okay. So when are we going to complete these projects?
And I am coming. And not until these projects have been completed and put to good use. I don't think it makes any sense, okay, to just go and throw another money away in the name of constructing any hospitals, whilst we have hospitals that we have not completed.
Okay. When I return from this break, I'll be putting that question to you, Dr. Free. When are these hospitals going to be completed? You give us timelines. And then we'll also find out how important these hospitals are to us, in terms of health delivery. Dr. Benanku will handle that for me. Stay with me. I'm coming back. Welcome back to PM Express. We're talking about projects that the minority group on the Health Committee of Parliament described as abandoned project. We've been having a banter, and government says some of them have been fixed into the 111 projects, and some will ask. Dr. Efriye has been explaining why they cannot complete these hospitals. But let me bring in Dr. Benanku quickly. Dr. Benanku, how important is the completion of these health facilities to quality delivery in the country, health delivery in the country?
I want to put it to the two parliamentarians that they should stop the politicking around health issues. It's not good for this country. So Dr. Afriye and the Honorable Akando, I have listened to all of them. It's the coalition that actually started this advocacy somewhere 2018, and then the health committee also came on board. So we understood it more than both of them. Whether you are the minority now or you are the whatever, we understood more than what they are talking about. And it's a shame, 64 years, that parliamentarians on health committee are still focused on banter, discussing who is right and who is wrong, and people are dying. The two of them, I'm putting to them, and the whole Parliament of Ghana, they should rise up. It's not a good thing that we are politicking about people's life. Now, because they have not done the impact assessment of the abandoned health facility, because one of their relatives have not died in these areas, actually, there are actually more than 55 health facilities across the country that are not being used. Because none of them relatives have died.
And what has your research shown why these facilities have not been put to use?
Yeah, just what they were discussing. But there's always a way out. It's because there's no commitment. You see, my 25 years of public health tells me that when there's a political will, projects are done. No matter how wrong contractors were engaged or whatever, projects are still done because there's a will. So it's just politically poor commitment. And that is what is happening now. And that's why I'm just focused on
how urgent do we need to complete these hospitals? How urgent is this situation?
Actually, people have died severally because these facilities are not put to use. The University of Ghana Medical School, the coalition was the first to raise the issue, and joined us, did a campaign until when the facility was put to use.
Okay.
When they started using the facility, in less than 3 months, COVID came.
Okay.
And all the parliamentarians, and including the health minister, they all went there to treat themselves. So assuming we didn't talk about it, where would they have used as the center for COVID?
So from where you sit, what do you want to see, I mean, immediately to resolve this issue?
Whichever way it is, every health facility cannot be totally completed before they are put to use. It is a common sense. Every health person knows that. Every health facility, you can never have 100% complete before you put to use. There's always a way out to start using it.
Okay.
Let me tell you, Aisha, right now, we have more than 90 district hospitals that are not standardized as district hospitals. But they are being used.
Okay.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
And they are saving lives.
So we need to find ways in putting these hospitals to use.
Put them into use. Start using them.
All right. So for the sake of time, let me give Ms. Akando 1 minute, and I'll give Dr. Free 1 minute, then we can call it a wrap. So you say you'll be instituting a probe. Why now? I mean, for all this while. And when do you even intend to do this?
Asha, first and foremost, even if you institute a forensic audit into any issue, it doesn't mean that you should stop construction of that particular project. Okay. So you can't go and hide behind a probe or audit to say that that is the more reason why the project has delayed. Okay. That's number one. Number two, my colleague a few years said that you should go and blame somebody else. You shouldn't blame government because government is not getting the money. The good people of this country has been told by Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo that he is going to build 88 hospitals, in fact 111 hospitals. If you cannot get money to complete these few ones, less than 10, where are they going to get the money to build the 88? You should tell us. Okay. The source of money for the 88 or the 101. You should tell the good people of this country.
Okay.
Number two, you see, when we put everybody together, okay, it is because of wrongdoing that everybody has a name. Okay, if there's an issue and we are discussing it and you put everything that somebody is talking anyhow, I don't talk anyhow. I'm executing my lawful duty as a member of parliament. Yeah. That is what is expected of me. When I have approved a facility for a construction of a particular edifice, it is my responsibility to monitor. Where have I gone wrong? Yeah. Where have I gone wrong? Okay. If I had sat down unconcerned, that would have been irresponsibility on my behalf.
Okay.
So for me, I think that what is important at this moment, this is the kind of defense they put up all the time. And then we still go back. For 7 years, for 5 good years, 5 good years, you keep giving the same excuses. It cannot be tolerated.
Dr. Friye, Mr. Akando says, if you have money to construct 111 hospitals, why can't you complete the abandoned ones?
The way forward, as we're looking, is, as I said, be a matter of a month or 2 or 3. Let us speak to the contractors. Let us go to the site, and let us see if indeed the UKEF really, like Parliament has done their work. We are part of government. We've done our work. It is for them to release the funds to them to do their job. So
if governance is this cheap, then
the money is
everybody can be president in
He's talking about Agenda 111.
Let him complete.
Aisha.
Yes. Dr. Friye, make your point.
The financing of Agenda 111 is not the same as one agreed by Parliament by UKEF. So we don't mix the two, okay? We focus on one that we passed a resolution on. And for that matter, the UKEF facility is what we are talking about. And Agenda 111 is also a different mix.
I'm grateful for your time. Dr. Iyawe Friye is chairman of the Health Committee of Parliament. Mr. Mensah Akando is a ranking member on the Health Committee of Parliament. And Dr. Gabriel Benanku, he is immediate past chairman of the NGO in Health. I'm grateful, gentlemen, that you all joined. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Enjoy the rest of our program.